That's why you are war. That's why you have today, for example, some countries like Rwanda, like Uganda, making threats to Congo, because it's not possible that a country with 13 million inhabitants, with something like $5 billion as annual budget, can destroy a country, a vast country like Congo with 120 million people, if they have not support from elsewhere.
Fantastic. So my follow-up question would be, you mentioned during your address the need to reform the judiciary. The Electoral Commission report, because currently it's highly politicized. Now, can you maybe think of other type of political reforms that would kind of help remove the democratic Congo, for instance, decentralization? Because I heard somebody told me how surprising it is that a country that fast, that diverse, is not a federal, it's not a federal system with high degree of autonomy of different regions. So can you also think of like parliament and other type of political institutions in the country and in the parliament? Can you elaborate more on the kind of institutional reforms that, besides the judiciary, that the country will need to be what it's supposed to be, in terms of rule of law, democracy, and economic progress?
That's a good question, very good question, because that has been done. You know, Congo, that vast country, we had 18 provinces, 10 plus the Kinshasa, the capital, making 11 provinces. And in the new constitution that we had in 2005, we went to 26 provinces. So each province is like here, has its own government, it has its own local parliament. And then we have the national parliament. The power has gone through the people. Okay? We have done it at reform. But the problem is the implementation. The implementation is lacking just because we are not in democracy. The implementation is lacking just because those parliamentary guys, they have been appointed. When we go to the election is just not. When we go to the election, those normally elected, they are not the one who sit in the parliament. Okay, we have to implement those reforms. We need the biggest one, which is the president should be one elected, should govern. Thank you. So one last question before we is what would you like
Mr. Fayulu, thank you for your presentation. My name is Oro. I'm a predoctoral research specialist at the Political Science Department. And I have a question about ethnic diversity. How would you think ethnic diversity could affect trust trust that people have for each other, but also for the institutions, and how could that affect democracy building? And second question I have is, what could the youth of Congo and of Africa in general could do? Would it be locally or for the diaspora abroad to contribute to democracy building in any ways we can? Thank you.
Thank you.
So I hear what you say about the reforms, but according to Wikipedia, Congo is still a unitary state. However, the ancient political philosophers have told us that you don't act against nature. And these things we call countries within these fake borders are not a natural endowment. So my fundamental question is, why is Congo one country? But before you send me spokesperson for Paul Kagame, what I'm asking for basically is a new paradigm, a new African political philosophy whereby we think two things. On one hand, expansion, and not military expansion like Paul Kagame, but more political expansion. Expansion into, let's say, a subcontinental regional government like SADC, whereby there's shared political and civil rights, common defense, internal, external. Anyone who wants to make trouble in Congo not only has to deal with Kinshasa, but you have to deal with Cameroon, Victoria, etc. And the second one is most important. I think we've forgotten this, but true federalism, especially fiscal federalism that is based on our ethnic nationalities, our traditional and foundational societies, whereby we allow them some measure of self-determination, including having some level of control of the minerals under their feet, which is their natural endowment. And finally, if you allow me, this is not 1960. We now have the benefit of hindsight, which our forefathers, like Patrice Lumumba, rest in peace, did not have. We've also attained some level of political maturity, whereby we don't have to continue these juvenile systems of government that these foreign belligerents left us. UK and Belgium are not unitary states by any source of imagination. So again, why is Congo, Nigeria, Kenya one country?
One more.
Hi, yes, thank you for coming to speak with us today. So, on the ethnic question, it is no secret that unity is a key to prosperity. My question revolves around language in that space of unity, how important language is for national unity, and within that, how Congo can use language to further national unity. I think there are three predominant, let's say, lingua francas that are wrestling with becoming the predominant lingua francas of Central and West Africa. Well, two, and one wrestling with becoming the lingua franca of the DRC alone. So you have Lingala in the DRC, you have Swahili across East and Central Africa, and you have Francais around West and Central Africa. Do you see a potential trend towards one of these specific languages becoming the dominant lingua franca in the DRC? Or is it more of a hybrid? And if so, do you think there should be precedence between those three? particularly as French is naturally an external language. Swahili comes from a very large Arabic substrate, and Lingala is more proximal to the DRC. Thank you.
To answer the first question, the ethnic group you talk about, the problem of ethnicity, like some of the countries in Africa. I went to school in Paris, in France. One thing I saw, and it was amazing for me, when I met with other nationalities, African nationalities, and the people of the same countries, they will ask themselves, where are you from? But when you see Congolese, at that time we call ourselves Zaïrois, nobody will ask you, where are you from? Congo, I can tell you, yes, you still have problems, the people, even with your neighbors, they have a problem. Okay, even in your own family, you still have, but the issue is really not an issue in Congo. Ethnicity is not an issue. But when you talk about ethnicity, and you put like Banyamulenge, if you have that in your mind, being in your mind that Banyamulenge is not an ethnic group in Congo. In Congo, you talk about language. Every tribe has its native language. Okay? When you say that you are Muruba, you have a language called Luba. When you say you are Congo, you have a language. When you say my parent language is Mala, there is a language speaking, everybody can understand in that area. Everybody. You go to a Tervuren museum in Belgium, you see all languages spoken in Congo. But Mulenge is a river somewhere in South Kivu. And okay, this is another story. But I just want to let you know there is no ethnic problem, real big problem in Congo that is making Congo, a difficult place to live. The diaspora can contribute, and the only, for me, the first contribution is to be the kind of, to make a diplomacy for Congo, to talk to people here, to let people understand what is happening in Congo, to tell them the reality in Congo, what is really Congo. Is not what they are telling them. I also think that our diaspora is very weak on that. Some diaspora, they told me that every time I go to the Capitol Hill, and okay, we are seeing many people here, the other nationalities, but where are Congolese? Okay, I think the diaspora can play a big role on that. Congo is a unitary state, and you ask why Congo, Nigeria, see one country. Sorry?
Congo, Nigeria.
Congo, Nigeria, yeah. Why America is one country? Why China is one country? Why Russia is one country? Okay? I don't know if I got your question. You see, you mean that Congo should be separate? Or you are asking if Congo, Nigeria, and so on should be united?
So,
Sorry? Yeah, your question is why Congo is still one country? Quickly.
yes, I'll try very quick. Congo is, other than one guy called Leopold,
Yeah.
Congo would not exist. Congo would not be one country. So, United States is one country because they went through a certain process and a certain history, and they said we're one country, but it's still a federal country. New Jersey has its own constitution, just like the United States of America has its own constitution. Princeton town has its own police. Congo, like I'm sure Congo, like Nigeria, has only one police force. step out this door, I encounter 3, 4 different police forces. That's federalism.
Yeah, I agree. But I understand. But the France has one police. Congo was made with many small states coming together. And yeah, this history is there. And those people, we have kings in Congo, and they agreed to be together, and they are together. But I agree with you. You are talking about unity, but the Congo can be a federal country. The Constitution of Congo, many writers, they say that the Constitution of Congo is a federalism because we have a government. If you go to, let's say, Katanga, okay, you go to, let's say, make it simple, you go to Congo Central, okay, you have the capital, which is Matadi. Okay, you have a governor. He has a government of 10 people. Okay, he have a local assembly with elected, quote unquote, elected members. Okay, and he has a budget. Okay, Iran is the place. What is the problem? Nigeria has 36 states. Okay, but because those states are not working, that we can say that, okay, we split the country. Why do you want to split them? First of all, in Congo, for example, let's one day an elected guy run the country, then we see. We don't have an experience that if Lumumba was not king, because nobody knows what will happen if Lumumba was there. But let us run the country. I have this year 18 issues, changes in the Congo. Okay? If today I get power in Congo, Congo will change. I said to everybody, I want to run Congo like I ran some country with a company called Electoral. Let people try, and then you see we don't have experience of that. Now, the other question for the language, Lingala, Swahili, and we have 4 what we call local languages. That's we have, this is Lingala, Swahili, Kiluba, and Kikongo. And then we have French for everybody. And we don't have an issue of that. Our old languages are very strong, and you go everywhere in Congo, people, you heard Lingala. 20 years, 30 years ago, you didn't have that. But you go to Canada today, which is Luba's area, and people speak Lingala there like they speak in Kinshasa. You come to Kinshasa, people speak Swahili. You go to Lubumbashi, people speak Swahili. The language is really not an issue, and then we communicate in French. And I think in Africa, okay, even like in Kenya, they have one language which is official, is Swahili and English, but we have 4 plus French. Fantastic. So we take 3 more.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the presentation. I have a question about sort of 2 main ideas that emerged in your remarks and how they relate to one another, what the interplay is between those 2 ideas. One is about building legitimacy in government through a clean electoral process and an effective constitutional court. So that very roughly that's something that the Congolese people can do by themselves. But then there's the other issue that, especially in your spoken comments after the main talk surface, which is the importance of peace. And then also the idea of some kind of internationally supported peacekeeping force, bringing peace, especially to places around Goma. And my question really is about how these 2 ideas hang together in your assessment. In particular, whether you think that the process of building legitimacy can make progress while the sort of the conflict or war is ongoing, or whether you see these two sort of issues and problems as so deeply interconnected that you think it wouldn't be possible to make substantive progress towards democratic legitimacy and legitimacy in government while war continues.
Thank you for speaking here. I have two, I guess, slightly related questions. So first, I'm wondering, because democracy was first developed in Europe and a lot of the ideas and institutions is imported to a country like Congo from Europe, which may not work very well with the tradition Congolese people have. And you were talking about how you can use, for example, the churches as sort of like the electoral commission. I'm wondering if there are other like traditional African political structures that could work well with democracy that Western style traditions is not working so well right now, and that can be replaced with traditional structures of Congolese people. And I think the second question is a question on peace. And I'm just wondering if like peaceful protests, peaceful movements, like for example the civil rights movement in the United States, could make a difference in a place like Congo instead of like armed resistance or armed revolutions in overthrowing and toppling a dictatorial regime. Thank you.
Because the last one
So like the last question is like whether peaceful protests and peaceful movements, sort of like the United States civil rights movement, could be effective in toppling a dictatorial regime or an illegitimate government in a place like Congo instead of having to rise up in revolution and armed insurgency.
Question? Can I proceed?
Hi, Mr. Faigo. Thank you for being here. I'm Janice Nkolongo. I'm a senior here at Princeton, and I'm originally from the Congo. So my question for you was just, given the economic challenges within the Congo, and you mentioned that you studied abroad in Paris, what role do you think that education, specifically higher education, can play in developing the country economically, and how do you think students like me studying abroad can sort of contribute to that vision?
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this presentation, and my question is, when you look at Africa population, Africa consists of more than 1.3 billion population, and about 40% of that population make up the young people in the continent. And if you look at what currently happens in Africa today, based on your presentation, which is something that is very consistent in so many countries, especially in West Africa and also Central Africa, when it comes to election practices that involve vote buying, violence, and other, election malpractices, which have consistently been reported by international observers and other civil society organizations in the continent. So my question is, as an opposition in the country, in Congo, after every election, what do you do in terms of cumulatively taking steps to addressing the issue of election reforms to take care of those election malpractices and violence during election, and population? And what do you do in terms of incorporating young people in your political by providing a national orientation to shift consciousness into what it ought to be when it comes to election activities. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the first question is how the legitimacy, the request of legitimacy election can progress while you have war going on in Congo. Yeah, but we should do something. That's why we are asking the help of the international community and to come to with a peace or peace mission, really to establish peace so the Congo can really have its election and have a stable institution. We are asking the UN nation. The UN nation has a branch for election. As they did in 2006, they brought that branch in Congo, and we had our first election with them. We are asking them to come again this time now, to sit down with Congolese, even with some African countries that they have demonstrated that they can run a good election there in Africa. And so they can help us to have election. We cannot say to have peace first and then to go for election, because we don't have an army. I can tell you that our army is in bad shape. And the importance of peace is there because nobody can go. We have minerals, we have resources, we have water, we have everything, we have people, but no foreign investor is coming in Congo. It's tough. It's really is not understandable. Now, the use of churches, if there is another organization, because in Congo, churches are very strong, mainly the Catholic Church is very strong, and most of Congolese, maybe 90%, they are Christians. It's easy for them, and then they are respected. What we are asking today is if the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church, they can team up and facilitate the discussion among Congolese for national creation. So the country is attacked, and we have to forget now that's opposition, that the ruling party, we have to be together and to discuss and to see how to recover our integrity, our territory. This is the first question. The second question, how to stop the corruption, okay? To stop theft, because one minister of justice said that every year Congo is losing $15 billion going to the pocket of people. Okay, how to stop that and to take that money to invest in the army so we can go and do the election. The third thing is during that meeting I'm calling that the church should you see now, okay. Let us agree on reforms. Which reforms are necessary for us to go to transparent, impartial, and peaceful elections? This is what really we want. The economic challenge is there. I totally agree with you for education. And you see, in this manifesto, we say that for Congo, we have 4 prerequisites. The first one is the state of law. How can we have the rule of law in Congo? The second one, how to have the integrity of our territory. The third, the national cohesion, and the fourth is the integrity in the governance, okay, good governance. This are the prerequisites, but then you come to the priority. The first priority is education. Education is very important. And fortunately, you go to Congo today, you see those young between 15 to 35 years, they have not been educated, well educated. And it's very, very difficult that we need people like you, please, tomorrow to come back to the country. But, come back to the country. I know the issue. That's why one of the issues is, the nationalities. Some of our young guys outside, they have two nationalities. Okay? But we have solved that issue by saying that, yes, tomorrow we can have two nationalities except those 9 countries surrounding Congo. This is the way to address that issue. But education is very important, and I must say it again, we want you tomorrow in Congo. That's why I'm working hard to have a real Congo, a peaceful Congo. Now, the young people, we really think that Congo, the guy of my age in Congo, we are only 5%. Okay? The median age in Congo is 19 years. 19 years. That means 50% of Congolese, of under 20 million people, are under 19. And 50% above 19. It's have many, and then they are not trained, they are not educated, they don't go to school. The current government has established what they call free education. And the free education you have in the small school with young guy of the age of 7 or 8, they are 150 in classroom. And how can you teach them? And every day we are having a problem because we don't have infrastructure, we don't have anything. Yet, you heard that the Electoral Commission has spent 1.2 went to the pocket of people. Went to the pocket of people. We really need the Congo, we need education, we need to form our people. And then the young guy, they are in the streets. Our party, for example, our political party is mainly for young people. But the problem, the issue is, some people, they have been paid, some young, because they don't have a job, they don't have revenue. And you see a guy in the ruling party, the guy in the government will take the money from the government and pay people, to be in the street and to fight against those who are demonstrating. This is the problem we have been talking about. Fantastic. So we will, I think it's still
Yes. And then,
Conférence continue si questo. La suite.
Thank you, Mr. Fayolo. My name is Mahiri. Mahiri.
I heard Mayele, which is a typically Congolese language. But that's not what it is.
Mahiri is also Congolese.
Oh,
I came from Kenya, so but I'm a student of Australian language. So I know one of the issues that Leaders Congo is its wealth, the minerals, the vast amount of wealth that is under Congo soil. And I believe that this mineral wealth is controlled by multinational companies. Do you think that these multinational companies that own mineral companies, mining companies, and trading companies,
Thank you so much. My name is Melusi. I come from Zimbabwe. I know we have talked a lot about more pressing issues, but maybe my question is less pressing. What will you do regarding the music and the dance in Congo? And because we grew up listening to Congolese music, and it was well loved in most parts of the country. So I'm wondering, do you have any cultural plan to awaken the giant, social cultural giant that Congo was in the 90s ago?
Right, my name is Mohamed Diallo. I'm originally from Guinea, and I'm a lawyer here in the US, and I operate an organization that does a lot of activities on the African continent where we help Congolese students, among the students that we help, gain access to admission